5 days ago, I found out that my husband, who I've been with for almost 14 years now, has been having an affair. I've been trying to figure out how to process this. And honestly, having a little divorce diary, I think, is the best for me. And maybe it can help someone else too. So how did I find out? Let's go back to New Year's Eve. On New Year's Eve, my husband and I went to a local speakeasy where we had a table. Another couple had joined us, and we had what I thought was a really great night. Towards the end of the night, close to midnight, I got a text from our oldest daughter saying she was worried about him because he had been sending her some weird text messages. He went to the bathroom, and that's when I got the text from her. And so I looked at his phone to see what he was sending her that was so alarming. I won't go into detail about what he was sending her, but when I opened his phone, I saw a bunch of texts to another girl who I'm very familiar with because she has worked for him for a number of years now. She's also married with kids, so I thought it was strange that they were messaging each other on New Year's Eve close to midnight while he's out with me, and I assume she's maybe with her family as well. But the text didn't make a lot of sense. They were kind of gibberish, and it gave me that gut feeling that something wasn't right. Women, if you're watching this, always trust your gut. It's always right. We went home after midnight, and I confronted him that morning. So stay tuned for part 2, and I'll tell you what happened. This is part 2 of me finding out that the man I've been with for 14 years has been cheating on me. So we got home New Year's Eve a little after midnight. We both had drinks, and so I made sure to get him to bed. My daughter, Haven, was not feeling good that night, and I had told her when I got home I would crawl in bed with her. So I went up, I got him settled, I crawled in bed with Haven and fell asleep. This is where the story kind of gets... God definitely wanted to wake me up. I'll just say it that way. It was about 4 or 5 a.m. and Haven rolled over to tell me that her belly hurt. And when she said the word hurt, she threw up all over me. Face, hair, everywhere. So I got up and took care of her, got her all cleaned up, did what I could do. I put her in Cody's bed with Cody, and then I went downstairs to take a shower. And while I was in the shower, I got that gut feeling again that was like, you need to go back and look at those texts. Something was not right about those, and don't just dismiss them. Again, ladies, I cannot stress enough trusting your gut. If this story will help even one person trust their gut, it's worth it. I got out of the shower, I checked his phone, and there was a passcode on his phone all of a sudden, which was not there when I had just looked at his phone around midnight. When I opened his phone, I was able to guess the password because we've been together for 14 years and I know every single thing he would use for a password. So I was able to guess the password pretty easily, opened the phone, and there were all the texts I had seen at the speakeasy a few hours earlier were gone. Everything was deleted. But right when I opened the phone, she was texting right then. 2 text messages came in. Ding, ding. Again, I don't need to go into detail about what the texts said, but they did not look good. They looked very incriminating and very much so like something more than a business relationship was going on between these two, especially because she was texting him these things at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. That with the deleted text messages, I knew again in my gut. So I immediately just woke him up and asked him what the boop was going on. I ended up waking him up and confronting him at about 5 a.m. Monday morning, January 1st. And he was still groggy from the drinks the night before. And you could tell he was trying to think of an excuse. And he kind of was just all over the place, like telling me all these different excuses for why he did it. But all I wanted to know was when it started and how far it had gotten. Because again, the texts that were sent were very vague. There was nothing in stone. There was no proof set in stone. Like, I didn't know 100%, but again, gut, trust the gut. We went back and forth for a few hours arguing over it because I just felt like he was never really giving me he wasn't giving me the answers I was asking for. All he kept doing was making excuses for why he did it. And he never really would even say what it was he did. eventually, after like 3 hours of this, I just asked him to leave. I couldn't take it anymore. And so he left. I called and texted the female that's involved in this and was trying to kind of get her side and her answer. And I didn't hear from her for 4 hours, which, again, very suspicious. If my boss's wife is texting me, asking me what is going on and calling me after I had just gotten a bunch of weird texts from my boss the night before, like, you better bet your ass that's going to be the first call I'm making in the morning. So the fact that she was avoiding me was another red flag. She finally called me, and by this time, I believe that they probably got together and hatched up a story. So by then, she had told me that everything that they've ever talked about or any contact they've ever had with each other has always been business. Nothing inappropriate, nothing outside of business. I got off the phone with her, again, not believing her, but at the same time, I had no proof of anything. And I wasn't going to end my marriage and disrupt my entire family without solid proof, because that's just the kind of person that I am. I'm not going to hurt my kids and do all of this just based on my gut. I needed proof, but I wasn't going to give up till I found the proof. So I talked to him that night. This is Monday night. And weirdly enough, he had the same exact story she had. He said he didn't know why he was saying the things he said in the morning. He was just still groggy, and that everything that they've ever discussed has always been business related. While dealing with all this, I still have to take care of my kids. I was trying to kind of juggle this all at once, along with my stepdaughter. She came over, and she's been a true like rock and support to me through all of this, and really honestly encouraging, and one of the strongest girls that I know. I'm so proud of her. Tuesday, I decided, okay, now I've had some rest. I slept for 2 hours that night, maybe. That's one of the things that you don't realize until you're going through this, is that your adrenaline is running at such a high pace that you can't eat or sleep. Like, you're just going. I couldn't even make myself fall asleep. I was going down the rabbit hole of scrolling back and looking at pictures over the years, and it's a lot. It's a mixture of emotions. So Tuesday, I decided I'm going to take a look at his phone bill, and we'll see what we can find there. Of how I found out that my husband of 14 years was cheating on me. Just to clarify, we were married for almost 9 years, together for 14. We dated for 3 years and were engaged for 2 years before getting married. Tuesday, I decide I'm going to dig into the phone bill. And again, all the texts were deleted, so there was nothing there that I can see. And it took a while for him to actually like figure out his password to get into the cell phone bill, and we had to reset it. And anyway, it took hours. And again, I'm still taking care of my kids. So Cody had a play date that day. Haven wanted to get her ears pierced that day. And so we went and did all the things. And then that night, I started pulling the records from the phone bill and running the reports. And that's when I discovered, and some of you might know this, and some of you maybe could have helped me at that moment if I wanted to be open about this back then. But I discovered that iMessages, so those little blue bubbles on the phone, are not saved on the servers of cell phone carriers like Verizon, which we have. So they are through the Apple servers. So when you look on a phone bill, you're never going to see any text correspondence, incoming or outgoing, if it was sent through iMessage. That's done through Apple, and then Apple does not save the logs for that. The only way you can see that is on your phone or through iCloud. And that had already been all deleted by him. So I had no records. The only thing the Verizon bill will show is if it was a text message. So if it's sent as like the green bubble, or pictures. And I did see a lot of those sent, but honestly, at the moment, I was still trying to figure out the phone bill and why these texts weren't adding up. Like, it showed that we had only sent 2 texts to each other during the month, and I knew that wasn't accurate. Through some research on Google, I ended up finding out that those iMessages are not stored on the servers. Since they don't go through the Verizon servers, they're not on the phone bill. So there's no record of any of that either. So at this point, honestly, I didn't have proof. I didn't know if I was ever going to get any solid proof, and I wasn't ready to just end my marriage and my family based on my gut feeling. And that's just where I was at Tuesday night. So Wednesday is the day that I got my answer. I'd been praying. I'm a Christian, very, very much believe in God and Jesus. And I knew I would get my peace. I had been praying for peace. I just wanted to know one way or the other. And Wednesday, I was talking to a girlfriend of mine from TikTok, and she had said to me, why haven't you reached out to this other woman's husband? And I had thought about it, and I almost messaged him on Facebook 2 days earlier, but I didn't want to cause any kind of strife in their marriage if there was really nothing there. Like, I don't want to hurt somebody else and have them feel the way I'm feeling if truly there was nothing going on. So I didn't message him. So now this is Wednesday, and I thought, you know what? If there's nothing going on, it's not going to harm their marriage. It won't hurt to at least reach out to him, see if he knows anything or has any suspicions himself. So I went onto Facebook to send him a message, and all of a sudden I noticed that I was blocked by him. Him and I don't know each other at all. He would have no reason whatsoever to block me. There was only one person that would have logged into his account to block me. There's many ways to message people, so I was able to get a message to him with my phone number to give me a call that it was urgent. I heard from him about 15 minutes later. He had the same suspicions for the same amount of time as I did, and so he said he was going to confront her when she got home. We got off the phone. 2 minutes later, my husband walked in the door, and I told him this was his last chance to tell me the truth. If he was truthful in that moment, I can consider trying to work through this in our marriage and forgiving him if he fessed up to everything. And this is where he said he would take a lie detector test, swore on his kids' lives, my kids' lives, that nothing had gone on. That part really hurts. Hold on. Okay, so anyway, so we talked. I kept trying to just beg him for the truth. I'm shaking now, sorry. This is all just very recent. And while we were talking, I had his phone in my hand at this point, and it started ringing, and it was the other woman's number calling. And I answered the phone, and it was the other woman's husband. And I said, oh, hi, do you want to talk to my husband? And he said, I would love to. And so I put my husband on the phone, and he had asked my husband to put it on speakerphone. And my husband did. And I could see at this point, my husband's shaking. And he told my husband, I'm going to give you one more chance to tell your wife the truth. And my husband continued to lie and said, I have nothing to tell. It's all been business. And that's when the woman came on the phone and said that they had been sleeping together for 2 years, over 2 years. So that's how I found out that my husband and the man I've been with for 14 years and have 2 beautiful babies with and a beautiful grown stepdaughter was having an affair. I want to just address some of the questions I've been getting in my comments, specifically, do Haven and Cody know? Are we okay? We are all okay. We're going to get through this. We are strong women, and I'm going to lead them as a strong, badass bitch, okay? Sorry for my language, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show them that we never put up with a man treating them this way. So they do know. I had to sit them down and tell them they're 7. So, of course, they don't understand everything. And they're going to see their daddy again, and we're going to figure that out. But for now, I just wanted to let you all know that, yes, we are all okay. The girls are okay. We'd really appreciate your prayers right now. And I'd appreciate it if you know the girls in real life or anything, if you don't bring it up to them, just because I don't want to cause them any more heartache or trauma. Another thing that I've seen a few times is, why would I post this on the internet? And I know I don't owe anyone an explanation. I can do whatever I want. But for me, this is a form of self-healing, and I want to document everything for myself so that if someone tries to manipulate or get back in my mind, I can go back and watch these kind of things. We are a very public platform with over 6 million followers across all of our platforms. And so we've been sharing bits of our life with you, and I only felt it was right to share this as well. And I wish more people would be open and talk about this kind of thing, because honestly, I would rather tell my story than have people gossiping and spreading lies and misinformation. So now you're hearing it straight from my mouth. This is exactly what happened from my perspective. He might have his own perspective, but the facts are still the facts and they don't change. And this is exactly how it went down. And thank you to everyone who is there supporting us. I mean, we have more people than I could ever imagine coming to try and help us with anything we need. And honestly, it's honestly really nice.